Hello pilots and welcome to this unboxing video brought to you by Out of Art Gaming. As always, my name is Phil and today we'll be unboxing the Hotshots and Aces 2 Reinforcement Pack. Plenty of new pilots for all factions in here, so let's crack this open and see exactly what we get in the pack. First things first, let's have a look at the cardboard we're going to get in the pack. So we've got 4 sleeves here. On the first one, we have Juno Eclipse, Second Sister, Magna Tolvin, Irika Quell, Coral Horn, Aura Singh, and Flight Leader Ubel. And on the back of these, now as we know they like to mix them up, we've got Wes Jansen, Tycho, Kyo Venzi, Pops Krail, Volan Das, Sicko, and Agent Tierney. Now they have tried to make sure that the ones on the back are not for the same ship, so you can fly, for instance, both A-Wings and both of the new T-70s. So that, whilst a little bit annoying that obviously they're not individual for them, is still pretty good there that you can fly the same faction stuff. Second card, we have Dirge, the Iron Assembler, Calrodo AI Holdout, Adi Gallia, Kit Fisto, Slammer, Gavin Sykes, and Lieutenant Gallic. And on the back, we actually have a blank one on the back of Dirge there. But we get George Urid, DT798, Lingava, Zay Versio, Vanessa Dozer, Calrodo Holdout, and Calrodo Holdout. So you actually get 3 copies of that there, which is quite nice. For the big cards, this is one I was a bit concerned about, but happy to see Poe Dameron and Lando, separate cards so you can fly them together should you wish. And on the back we have a blank card and Dr. Afra. Interesting to see blanks, to be honest. We don't see that often. Finally, we have the card for Hondo, Taka Jamarisa, Torfin, Dirge, Lapin. We have our config card bits there. And lots of blanks on the back. So that's going to be interesting. You definitely know which way around they're going to go. But that is the cardboard that you're going to get in this pack. So let's have a look at the actual cards now. So nice big stack of cards, obviously really good if you are a collector and have all of the factions. If you're looking to share them, it's going to be a bit tricky, but let's have a quick look through. So we've got the Empire ones at the top here. So first up we have Flight Leader Ubel. After a friendly ship, a range 0 to 2 defends. If it was dealt a damage card, you may perform a bonus attack against the attacker. I like this. Initiative 5 as well in the TIE Heavy. Really cool to see some more love for that TIE Heavy. And this ship actually is coming in at 5 points with 15 loadouts. So not the biggest loadout, but on a TIE Heavy, that should be quite fun. Next we have the return of Juno Eclipse in the TIE Advance X1. After you perform an action, you may perform a red boost action. That is really cool. The boost action is something that the TIE Advance really does miss, so it's really nice to have that back, and Juno Eclipse as well at I5. And she is 4 points with 8 points worth of loadout currently. Next up, TIE Interceptor with the Force, Second Sister, I4. While you perform an attack after the neutralize result step, if the attack hit, you may spend 2 Force. If you do, change all of your hit results to crit results. That is an incredibly powerful ability. I look forward to seeing if I can pull that one off. Now, Second Sister is 5 points with a 14-point loadout, so quite a good loadout there. So it'll be interesting to see how she flies with some of the other interceptors. Next, in the TIE Fighter, we have Magna Tolvin. While you have 2 or fewer stress tokens, you can perform white actions even while stressed. After you gain a stress, you may perform a white action if able. Really cool ability there. Magna, only 3 points with 10 points worth of loadout, so you can put quite a few things on this. And rounding out the Empire, we have Irika Quell, another TIE fighter pilot. After you fully execute a maneuver, you may acquire a lock on an enemy ship in your bullseye. So that's really cool, giving you a way of getting a lock without having to target a computer. Gotta line it up just right, but still pretty cool. Irika is 3 points with 9 points of loadout. Moving on to those rebels now. We have Corran Horn in the T-65 X-Wing. We were waiting for him to get an X-Wing. Shame he doesn't have any force, but it's nice to have a new X-Wing in there. After you declare the defender of an attack, if you have a lock on the defender, a friendly ship may transfer their lock token from you to the defender. Pretty cool ability there. Interesting to see how that really plays out, but again, always nice to get a new T-65. And Corran is 5 points with 18 points of loadout, by the way. Wes Jansen, the wisecracking wingman, another I-5. After you perform an attack, you may spend 1 charge to assign the defender 1 jab token. After you defend, you may spend 1 charge to assign the attacker 1 jab token. So, pretty much, someone is getting jabbed every turn. That's going to be quite fun. Wes is also 5 points. He has 15 points of loadout on him. And you get the 1 recurring charge. Another returning pilot, we have Tycho Calchu. We have, while you have 2 or fewer stress tokens, you may perform actions even while stressed. I-5, A-Wing, everyone loves Psycho Tycho. It's really good to have him back. He's only 4 points in the A-Wing and has 14 points worth of loadout, so I can imagine we'll see quite a lot of him at the I-5 step. Another A-Wing for you here, we have Keo Venzi, I-3. This is a force using A-Wing, so adding more force users to the rebels. If you have no active force charge after you reveal a bank or hard turn maneuver, you may increase the difficulty of the maneuver. If you do, perform that maneuver as a side slip and recover 1 force. That's actually pretty good because this force is non-recurring as well. So you're going to be able to trigger that quite easily. It does make it tricky to gain the force back with Keo Venzi, but fortunately only 3 points with 8 points worth of loadout, so you're not going to feel like you have to do that side slip to get the force back, but really interesting ability there. I like the sounds of that. And here we have Pops Crail in the BTLA4 Y-Wing, I-3 Gold 5. After you fully execute a white maneuver, you may choose a friendly ship at range 0 to 1. If you do, it may perform a focus action. Classic Rebel support action there. Also, just want to note as well, different backs on all the cards here, which is a nice touch. Bit of a shame is we put them in opaque card sleeves, but if you've got them in clear sleeves, that is going to be quite cool to see. And looks like you've got the name of the artist on all of the artworks there, and they do all look really cool. It's the same art that they have on the front, but full size on the back. It's quite nice. Moving on to those pesky droids, we have Volan Das. Well, I say droids, and then we have this card. I-5 Droid Tri-Fighter. After you fully execute a red maneuver, you may choose an enemy ship at range 1. The chosen ship gains 1 strain token, and you may remove 1 stress token. Always good fun, especially in an interceptor style ship. Now, this one is modified for ordnance. This ship is not affected by the standardized restriction. Reduce the difficulty of your speed 2 to 3 bank maneuvers, and increase the difficulty of your speed 3 hard maneuvers. So I have to remember that when flying, this one is obviously quite different, but interesting. And again, the full art card there on the back. Aura Singh in the Fire Spray. I-4, Bane of the Jedi, 1 recurring force. Before you engage, you may spend 1 force to choose 2 enemy ships at range 0 to 1. Transfer any number of orange and red tokens between those 2 ships. And that can be really powerful, especially if you've got specific upgrades on there that work in conjunction with red or orange tokens. So having a look at what upgrades you can get on there can make this quite powerful. If you don't use it, you obviously got the force there as a modification anyway. So really good fun. Definitely gonna have to try her out in a separatist list. Next up we have Dirge, adding to the only recently released Rogue class Starfighter. Another I5 in the Rogue. When you would be destroyed, you may spend 1 charge to reveal all of your face-down damage cards. If you do, discard each direct hit and each of your cards with a pilot trait, then repair all of your face-up damage cards. That's pretty powerful. Obviously you get the dead to rights there, so while you perform an attack, if the defender is in your bullseye, defense dice cannot be modified using green tokens. And apologies, I forgot to mention, Volan Das is 4 points with 12 points worth of loadout, Orasing is 8 points with 15 points of loadout, and Dirge is 4 points with 10 points of loadout. So quite cheap for a high initiative rogue class. Next up we have the unique Iron Assembler. After a friendly ship at range 0 to 1 skips its execute maneuver step, you may spend 1 charge. If you do, if there is an asteroid or debris cloud at range 0 of it, that ship may repair 1 damage. And they're non-recurring charges. Network calculations. When you defend or form an attack, you may spend 1 calculate token from a friendly ship at range 0 to 1 to choose 1 focus result to a evade or hit result. And that's I1 for the Iron Assembler. And again, the Iron Assembler is 2 points with 5 points worth of loadout. We get 3 of the Calrodo AI holdout. After you are destroyed, you may transfer each of your locked and green tokens to another Calrodo AI holdout at range 0 to 3. This one is also modified for organics. This ship is not affected by the standardized restriction. Reduce the difficulty of your speed 2 and 3 bank maneuvers and increase the difficulty of your speed 3 hard maneuvers. And this one is only 2 points with 7 points worth of loadout, so you can definitely fit these in quite easily in your separatist faction. It's going to be quite interesting to have something slightly different with your Vulture droids. Now, moving on to the Republic, we have Adigalia in the 2 variants. So this is the first time we actually get 2 different cards for your Delta 7 and your Delta 7B. So other than the stat line, they are pretty much exactly the same. So while you defend, if an attacker, while you defend at attack range 1, you may spend 1 force. If you do, the attacker cannot apply the range bonus. While you perform an attack against the defender at attack range 3, you may spend 1 force. If you do, the defender cannot apply the range bonus. So an incredibly powerful ability that we've seen on the Grand Inquisitor there. Now, Adigalia in the regular Delta 7 is 5 points with 12 points worth of loadout, and in the Delta 7B is 7 points with 18 points worth of loadout. Initiative 5, that's going to be quite scary. Next up, we have Sicko in the LA-80. After you execute a maneuver, you may assign the sickening maneuver condition to yourself, and we'll come on to that later. Now, standard LA-80 stat line, so again, it's nice to get another LA-80 in there. And Sicko is 5 points with 12 points worth of loadout. Another ETA 2 for you, Kit Fisto. While another friendly ship defends, if the attacker is in its bullseye, you may spend 1 force to change 1 of the defender's blank results to a focus result. So again, more support there for your Republic faction. Really like that. Again, another option in the ETA 2. Next up, a new pilot for the V19. Will we see it being flown? Not 100% sure. The V19 is a little bit hit and miss, but this is Slammer. After you fully execute a maneuver, you may spend 2 charge to perform a slam action, even while stressed. And Slammer is 3 points with 7 points worth of loadout, And again, apologies, Kit Fisto, 4 points with 8 points worth of loadout. Nice to get a new V19, not sure if we're going to end up using that. And finally for the Republic, we have Gavin Sykes in the N1 Starfighter. While you defend or perform an attack, if the speed of your real maneuver is greater than the enemy ships, you may re-roll your blank results. Classic sort of N1 ability there. Really good fun. Makes you want to fly this fast, which we've sort of touched on before. It's good, but you do tend to rely on going fast, and that can make things tricky. But all in all, again, another N1 Starfighter, so that's quite cool. He has 4 points and 16 points worth of loadout on this one, so you can put quite a few bits on him. Also, perform an attack, not a primary attack, so that can work on munitions as well. Right, moving on to the first order. We have the TIE FO Lieutenant Gallic. After another friendly ship at range 0 to 2 is destroyed, you may perform a coordinate action even while stressed. While you coordinate, the ship you choose can perform an action only if that action is also on your action bar. So it's a good job you've got a pretty good action bar there. But again, another ship getting an action that it wouldn't normally have through its ability. So interesting to see how that one plays out. But I5 there for Lieutenant Gallic. And he is 3 points with 8 points worth of loadout. A new TIE SE bomber here, George Jared. After you perform a boost action, you may spend 1 charge to remove 1 non-lock red or orange token. So, boosting and getting rid of that red token by spending a charge. You can do that 3 times. That is actually going to be really powerful on a ship like this. I really like that. Dual Jared is 4 points with 13 points worth of loadout. I could see that being used quite often. Another TIE FO for you, we have DT798 Jace Rucklin. While you perform a primary attack, if you are not strained, you may gain 1 strain token to roll 1 additional die. Classic TIE FO, taking the hit to give a bigger hit there. I like that. It's going to work quite well. I4, DT798 is only 3 points with 8 points worth of loadout. Next up, we have Lynn Garver. Setup. After placing forces, assign the Prime for Speed condition to yourself and up to 2 other friendly TIE FO or TIE SF fighters that have no equipped modification upgrades. And we'll come on to the Prime for Speed in a moment. That's an interesting one. Once we check out Prime for Speed, we'll know a bit more, but the fact that you can't take a modification on there, that's where it's going to hit you a little bit, possibly. But Lynn Garver is 3 points with 9 points of loadout. And finally for the first order, we have Agent Tierney. Setup. After placing forces, you must assign the Broken Trust condition to an enemy ship. And again, we'll know more about that when we come to that condition card, but we can imagine that it's not going to be very good. Agent Tierney is 5 points with 15 points worth of loadout. Now moving on to the Resistance. We get 2 new Falcons here. We have Poe Dameron, I6. Before you execute a maneuver, you may spend 1 charge. If you do, ignore obstacles during that maneuver. After you fully execute a maneuver, you may spend 2 charges to perform a white boost action or a red barrel roll action. Then, if you perform a red barrel roll action, expose 1 damage card if able. 2 really cool abilities there. Going to be interesting to see how that actually plays out. Doing the red barrel roll, you're probably going to do that early if you decide to do it, so that you don't have to expose a damage card. But I really like that. Poe Dameron is only 7 points and has 25 points worth of loadout, so not an overly expensive Falcon by any means, and a lot of things you can pack on there. The other Falcon is Lando Calrissian. He's finally got that Falcon back in his hands. After you fully execute a red maneuver or perform a red action, you may spend any number of charges to choose that many friendly ships at range 0 to 2. The chosen ships may perform an action even while stressed. That is really powerful. Really cool ability, really going to be able to support your T-70s and A-Wings really nicely there. He is 8 points and only has 20 points of loadout, but I still think that that ability is going to be really powerful and quite worth it. Next up, yet another T-70 X-Wing. If you didn't have enough of them already, we have Vanessa Dozer. While you perform a torpedo or missile attack, you may treat your forward arc requirement as a rear arc for that attack. If you do, treat the range requirement as range 1 to 2. I like that. It's always nice when you can surprise someone by shooting a torpedo backwards. Vanessa is 5 points with 13 points worth of loadout, so you can pretty much get all of the munitions on her. One copy of, but you can put most things on her. Next T-70, we have Zay Versio, her father's daughter. While you defend, if the attacker is damaged, you may reroll one defense die, sorry. I like that. It gives you a little bit more survivability in the T-70. Not that you're going to need it. The T-70 is a tough nut to crack. But that's a really cool ability there. 4 points with 7 points worth of loadout on that one. Next up, we have the Resistance Transport, and these always have some really interesting names. We have Taka Jamarisa. After you jam, you must assign one jam token to another ship at range 0 to 1 of the jammed ship if able. So spreading that jam all around the place. 4 points with 15 points worth of loadout on that. Now we move on to the Scum faction. We have Hondo Anaka. Action. Choose 2 non-huge ships at range 0 to 3 of you that are not friendly to each other. Each chosen ship may perform an action that is on your action bar, even while stressed, in the order of your choice, then gain 1 calculate token. Interesting ability. I have to see how that works out. Not quite sure on that one, so you give one person, you and your opponent's one. It could work out quite good if you needed an action desperately, but interesting to see. I1, Hondo is 7 points with 18 points worth of loadout. Next up we have Torfun in the Fang Fighter. After you perform an attack, if the defender was destroyed, you may perform an action, even while stressed. Then you may gain 2 strain tokens to perform a bonus attack. This can be quite brutal, especially at I3, because your opponent could have been weakened by a higher shot. So I really like that one. Fits really well with that Fang Fighter mentality of just getting in there and just absolutely destroying your opponent. 4 points with 7 points worth of loadout, so it'd be quite fun to see that one in action supporting Old Terok and Fen Rao. Next up we have Dirge in the Scum faction on the Rogue class Starfighter again. While you defend, after the neutralize result step, if there are more focus or crit results than your active shields, you may change 1 hit result to a crit result and cancel 1 hit result. That's quite wordy, and I think it's going to be one we'll have to reread a few times to really get our head around that one. But could be quite an interesting ability there. Dirge here is 4 points with 10 points worth of loadout, exactly like his Separatist counterpart. A new YV666 pilot here for you, Dr. Afra, I3. Before you engage, you may spend 1 green token and 1 charge. If you do, you may choose another ship at range 0 to 1 that is not stressed. That ship gains 1 stress token. So you're going to have to take quite a lot of your bits there to be able to do that one. So losing a focus token and a charge. Going to be interesting to see how worth it that is. But again, it's always nice to get a new pilot for a ship that has not had many pilots for it recently. Dr. Afra has 6 points with 22 points worth of loadout. So there are quite a few upgrades there that will mitigate that. Perceptive co-pilot, for instance, can be quite handy. And the final pilot card we have is Lapin in the modified TIE LN Fighter, I2. While you defend or perform an attack, if the enemy ship is stressed, that ship's dice cannot be modified. We like that. That's a cool ability. Really straightforward, but really powerful. 3 points for Lapin with 7 points worth of loadout. Now let's have a quick look at those condition cards. So we have Prime for Speed. Add a white slam action to your action bar. You may perform a slam. After you perform a slam action, you must suffer 1 damage to remove 1 disarm token. That's actually really cool. Obviously, you're going to damage yourself, but then you're not disarmed, so you can get into the fight really quick. And that will work on your heavier stacked ships like the SF there. And in fact, if thinking about it, if you do that on quick draw, you can get the bonus attack before the actual engagement phase. So I like that. You also get 3 copies of those. And again, the artwork for that on the back, like it. Sickening Maneuver. You can execute red maneuvers even while stressed. After you run a bank or a hard turn maneuver, you must gain 1 strain token and execute that maneuver as a side slip. After you reveal a straight maneuver, you must execute that maneuver as a red kilogram turn. After you execute a maneuver, remove this condition. That's going to make it quite tricky when you start the game, because you're going to have to remember that when you dial in a move, it's not going to be what you expect it. I'm actually really looking forward to trying that out. That sounds fun. And the final card in this pack is the Broken Trust. Treat friendly ships as allied. Non-enemy ships treat you as allied. While performing an attack before declaring the defender, each allied ship in the attack arc that is not stressed gains 1 stress token. After you defend or perform an attack, if the defender was dealt at least 1 face-up damage card or was destroyed, remove this condition. Again, that's really good. I really like that condition card. That is going to cause some serious issues, especially in your factions that do like to support each other quite a lot. But anyway, guys, that is the Hotshots and Aces 2 reinforcement pack. I know it's been a bit delayed here in the UK, but we are really happy it's finally out. Some new pilots to try on the board. Let us know in the comments which pilots you're most excited about and any combinations you're looking to use. In the meantime, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you next time.